Right, hi guys. So I've just spotted this on the internet. Yeah, wild rumour, but who knows if it's true. But it's the first one we've seen for a long, long time. But please take note that anybody could write a rumour and send it to someone, and it could be as fake as you like at the end of the day. But fingers crossed. End of the day, it could help spur on Sony to make one. So we need to look at it like that. But anyway, this is the basics. It says. I got the following rumour from a news source. Really don't know if it's true, basically, but hopefully they will actually release one. Yeah, who knows about supply chains? The major differentiator is the first time AI technology will make it into a Sony camera. There's also design improvements and removal of the flash and incorporation of the A6600 battery. The A6600 battery is the same one that goes in all of the newer Sonys anyway. So basically, one of those. It's the same one that goes in my A1, A7R4, A7 IV. These are obviously copy ones, but yeah. So that'd be good. I mean, that would be an absolute game changer. You could basically take the camera out all day pretty much on one of those batteries. They're literally beasts. Ergonomics is actually not really much you need to do with the RX10, really. Maybe move the movie button somewhere, but the actual grip itself is really deep and big, and it could get one of those batteries in there without any drama at all. So I don't think it'll take much to get it there. The only thing I'd love to see happen would be a non-electric zoom, go fully manual, which would be really nice. So yeah, that would be really, really cool. The other thing they're saying about the same lens as before, but that would be really nice if we could have a manual zoom version with no electrics. Would be nice, but the electric has its benefits as well. So it's the only thing you can't do is when you're zooming in and out, it won't autofocus in stills, which is a really annoying thing. So you have to back out quickly and then, or zoom in quickly and then shoot. Luckily, it's quick enough that you can kind of get away with it, but a lot of the time, it is a little bit annoying. We'll feature blackout-free EVF burst. We need a high resolution EVF, and it's a slightly bigger one as well, and with a decent rubber cup. Hence why I put one on mine with that little £5 hack that I've done. It's still on there now. Still works really well. 24 frames per second. That's plenty. It is a machine gun anyway. But what we really need is a little bit of A1 tech with the CF Express cards in there, or one at least. Because of the speed and the chips and everything obviously to go with it, but the speed of it writing images to that card, it allows you to go straight to video very quickly, or your buffer is cleared so quick. On the A1 when I'm using that, absolute game changer. And that's only really, that thing there is only the real thing that really is a bit of a bugbear with the RX10 in the long term, is that waiting for it to clear the buffer whilst it's writing. Let's see what other people say. If I can find my mouse, there it is. Oh, there's a few people here. So Chris Barton says he bought it 18 months ago after trying it on walks, sitting and watching birds, etc. I started to borrow it more. Oh, okay. Finally, that we did a Nikon the Sigma Sport. I wonder if it, but it did but better. Lens wide open f4.6 was great. Luckily, a surprise Christmas present to the wife just gone. He's got one, so that's cool. Yeah, using noise reduction allows us to basically shoot up to 3200 ISO, and that's what I've said before. I mean, I used Topaz denoise, which works really well, and there's others out there as well. So that is a game changer, that software, because you then don't really have to worry about your ISO too much. At all. I mean, you keep it down at 100 to sort of 400-ish, you're fine anyway. But if you do need to shoot higher, then you've got that software there to sort it out. 60 frames per second, 4K would be nice. What I would really like to see would be 240 frames per second, 4K. And in the HFR mode, even if we had 240, 500, 1000, there's the tech there, and also the processing power that we could have 4K 1000 frames per second for those few seconds, because that's all you need. So when you're doing HFR stuff and you're actually shooting slow motion, like, you know, if I don't know, if you're going to break a bottle or something, or light a match or something like that, you want it in slow motion, you only need a fraction of a second anyway. So 2 or 3 seconds worth of that in 4K would be unbelievable. And the processing power there is absolutely now to do. You know, you can do it. So yeah. What else we got here? The bigger battery obviously will be a game changer as well. Someone said it wouldn't surprise if they sell it for 1,890. I reckon it'd be 2,000 minimum, because it was 1,800 originally, and it was a beast, and it was value. I mean, I think it was good value then at £1,800. What it can do and how it does it, it's a pro level camera in a all-in-one body at the end of the day. Yeah, absolutely legendary on travels. Really needed enhanced with the Z battery. Absolutely. Let's improve the design by removing flash. The feature helps to find category, and it's very, very handy at times. Yeah, exactly. So the pop-up flash I actually use sometimes when I'm using it at 600mm. I'm shooting like butterflies and stuff on flowers. It just gives that a little bit of punch, and can also help freeze your image without having to have a flash gun on. The thing is, it's got a leaf shutter, so basically you don't have a very fast burst rate with the flash. Even with a flash gun mounted, it's very slow, just because of the way the design works compared to a traditional mechanical shutter. But in the day, we can now shoot with no mechanical shutter with the A1 with flash, so they could implement that as well. So that'd be another thing they could do. Anyway, this is basically a flagship all-in-one. So they really need to basically make it do the best of the best, and they could quite easily. Yeah, the 24-600 for a kilo in weight, extra. I mean, the lens is super sharp. And the benefit of having that smaller sensor, when people say, "Oh, I wish it was a bigger sensor," yes and no. The bigger sensor is obviously going to give us less noise, a little bit better quality, and everything like that. But having a smaller sensor gives you more depth naturally. So when you're at 600mm, I think it's something like f4. I think it's something like f11, the depth equivalent. And you know, I did a shoot back in 2017, I think it was, with my friend Gav, who had a 1DX Mark II with a 600mm f4 Canon lens. That's about, I don't know, £16,000 worth or £18,000 worth of kit, and we put it side by side with the RX10. And the only differences we could really see in normal light was the depth of field. Everything else looked identical, super sharp. So when it's as good as that, but you had a little bit more depth naturally, it kind of sometimes actually helps you, because that way, if you are shooting f4 with a big 600mm prime on a full frame, your depth of field could actually be too shallow, so you might have to stop it down, which then obviously reduces your shutter speed and you're shutting your aperture down, so less light. So the RX10 actually does benefit sometimes in that respect. So that's really one of those things that, you know, is really quite good. But then it's not perfect. The wide angle at 24mm, it focuses literally to the lens hood. At 600mm, it's I think 72 centimeters, which is extremely close, and actually gives you quite a good, quite close-up ability. But mid-range, when you're sort of like anywhere sort of like 100 to 400, 500, your focusing distance is quite long, and it doesn't like it at all, which is a real shame. But I think that's just down to the lens design and what's actually physically possible. It says here, it's cameras like the RX10 series that make me wish Nikon 1 had survived. I picked up the used Nikon 1 J5 a while back with a 7300, despite the shooting experience being cumbersome and generally not very fun. I was amazed at the quality of the camera lens combo, especially considering its age. I wish I could use the lens on a more modern body, considering the tools the rumoured RX10V, but I missed that extra 210mm. Not to mention £1,000 it did still need after selling my J5 lens. Yeah. This person here says, I must admit, I have a hard time seeing why any manufacturer would even consider releasing a new fixed lens camera on the market. That has almost collapsed. I don't think it's collapsed at all. It's got smaller, but I mean, obviously I've kind of not got famous. I don't like that word. I don't like using the word famous too much, but I've become quite well known for the RX10 Mark IV because I used it so much so early, and I was quite lucky to get it earlier than most people. So I used it so much, did the videos and all that sort of stuff. So, and when I still get messages daily, emails daily, people asking questions, what's the best way to do this? What are the best settings? It's it shows that there's still a market for it. And I'm still getting people watching my videos daily as well. So, it's still a market there. The fact people are still buying it today when they can find one proves that point. So yeah, and as someone says here, RX10 is one of Sony's hidden gems. The camera makes sense. Sony don't really care about what other manufacturers do, and that's true. Sony will literally just go, yeah, there you go, it works. We've done it, and they did that with mirrorless. They basically pioneered mirrorless with the full frame and everything like that, and it took Nikon and Canon 5 years to realise that actually Sony were onto the right route, and now obviously everyone's gone this way. So that's proving the pudding. They know what they're doing. Yeah. The thing is, yeah, he's saying a bit here. It's not much about the camera's capabilities and being a hidden gem. It well might be, as where the market is today. Sony has the world to create profit for these products exist, and substantial rather, large amount of market for this being the case. But I mean, at the end of the day, people are still going to buy. And it's a new one. There's props. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of RX10s have been sold over the years, but at the end of the day, if you've got one and a new one comes out, probably 50 to 60% are going to order the new one, especially because now it's older. And also one thing as well, I've said before that the Sony A7S2 was delayed for 5 years, and we're coming up to the 5th year now for the RX10. So if we look at it that side of things, and the thing is, it's not slow. It's just the transfer speed is the slow part. Everything else is still quick. It's still a quick camera. It still does things very, very well. I'm not going to bother reading too much of this because they're basically arguing. Yeah, I mean, basically, someone said here about the only reason the market collapsed a bit is because no one was actually releasing new cameras since the pandemic. So, yeah. What else have we got in here? Let's be like this. Hint: the RX10 Mark IV was released in 2017. Panasonic said FZ 2000 in 2016. No updates since that. Pretty true. But who knows? End of the day, like I said, I've got loads of people watching these videos, and I mean, probably thousands of people would buy one, a new one. I certainly will. It needs upgrading, and I had saying here. Then again, the very next year, the A6300 launched with even more video features than the A7R2. RX100 1V had better radio performance than the Sony full frames at that point. That's very true. So tech leads tech, doesn't it? Every time you get a innovation of some sort, or next bit, it's going to go ahead. So having a more intelligent autofocus system built in from like the A1, for example, and the bigger battery, all that sort of stuff, CF Express card, it needs that because that is a game changer. But then that's going to push you buying one of those cards over the £2,000 mark easily because, it. But then you can still use SD cards in there, I suppose. But I wouldn't. I would literally have it would just make it a game changer. It's so quick, and that's what we need. But the problem is, that would make Sony probably create the world's best camera if it had the speed, that resolution. 20 megapixels is fine, or even if they boosted it to 24. 24 photos per second, crazy autofocus, the 24-600 f4. it's pretty much the best camera in the world, isn't it? I mean, the RX10 Mark IV is still really the best all-in-one camera out there. But the fact is, if you had mega speed, because if it's got to transfer 20 megapixel images to a CF Express card, it's going to clear that buffer ridiculously quick. It's super fast on a 50 megapixel A1. So God knows what it would be like at 20 megapixels. It'd be even quicker. It would also allow us to have just better stuff. Also the menu systems could be updated. The HFR modes would be lovely. Some faster, even 2,000 frames per second would be lovely for HFR, even if it was just full HD. But 4K would be nice as well. Yeah, I mean the list can go on. All of what we want is out there, and I'm sure they could put it in there. But it's also, one is price point, two is availability of parts, and just the manufacturing point, and also shipping it around the world to the customers. Yeah, but also how many people really want it, and that's the other thing they've got to think about, I suppose. And that's probably why they've sat on it for quite a long time now. But like I said, it took them 5 years to deal with the A7S II to create the A7S III, which I know a couple of people who use those, which is extremely good. But then they bring out something that's got slightly better stuff, which is the A7 IV, which is even cheaper. And obviously got the A1, which has got everything that the A7 III's got, but more megapixels. It's just, I don't know, how Sony work and how other companies work is very different, I think. Yeah, so anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know if you would be buying one, because I certainly would. I don't care the cost, really. It could be £2,200, I wouldn't care. I think it would be worth every single penny. If it's that quick and does everything that this RX10 Mark IV does, but on steroids, I think it would be absolutely brilliant. And I think, yeah, I don't think the price really matters. Bit better weather sealing maybe, but other than that, I mean, I soaked mine hundreds of times and it was still fine. So, I don't know. Anyway, don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well, and keep your eye out for this one, because if it does turn into something a bit more real, we could be onto a winner. So I better get saving for our next upgrade. So, anyway, take care, guys. Bye.